Hey everyone, we're back once again. Got some more indie horror for you on the chopping block today. So glad you could join us here in the Final Cut, Mark the Movie Man. And yes, we are looking at Lillith, directed by Lee Esposito. And we get the story of Jenna, who's in a 5-year relationship, and it's the night of their anniversary, and she tells her friends, we can't get together because I'm going to go hang out with my BF, my boyfriend. And well, she finds that her boyfriend, is cheating on her. So she turns towards her friend who dabbles in witchcraft. And after some thought, she decides to get some revenge in the form of summoning a succubus named Lillith. Well, they get more than they bargained for when they summon Lillith, and soon Lillith is on a bloody sexual-fueled rampage. And we see how Jenna and her friend Emma and their group try to figure out how to stop Lillith before she takes out all the men and women in town. I enjoyed the concept of this film quite a bit, and it is a bit of your standard indie film. The aesthetics look great, and the production value is high. I will say that. The audio stayed consistent throughout this film, and so you don't run into a lot of those aesthetics that you run into with an indie film. And these actors that they have in here are experienced. Look for an appearance of Langston Fishburne showing up as Professor Hardy, who he doesn't have a lot of screen time, but I really enjoyed his part, and it played a part within the plot. Nell Kessler plays Jenna, and you really feel for her character. She really makes you feel how hurt she is and help in understanding her motivation for wanting to bring up a succubus to get revenge on her just a-hole boyfriend. And, they justify it fairly well, and you want to see what happens, right? And I loved the chemistry she had between her and Robin Carolyn Parent, who plays Emma, her friend. I really liked the dynamic between these two. Really enjoyed the Emma character quite a bit. Some good performances there, and she's the one that is kind of excited to try to help summon this succubus, wants to see if it actually works, right? But who really stole the show was Savannah Witten, who plays Lillith. Wow, her character, every time she was on screen, she was chewing up the scenery in the way you want a character like this to do. You believed she was this demonic succubus, and she played it really well. And then they do this great transition in here. There's some great stuff Esposito does between what Lillith really looks like and what she looks like to most people with this makeup. And the makeup for what her true form is, it looks fantastic on film. I loved the makeup that they did, full body, it was really freaking creepy, and it was great how they were able to intercut between that and her human form of what you see, and I thought they handled that very well. There's some fun gore in here as that they work in here, practical gore, which is always great to see. And yeah, I enjoyed how the plot played out. There were a couple twists. The pacing of it gets a little slow at one point, but not too much. I mean, they keep things moving along fairly well with this film, especially with the multiple locations that they're doing where they shot this, which was mostly on a campus, I can tell. But even still, they give you a number of locations, keep things visually interesting, and the dialogue does come at you fairly quick, which is good as well. There's no real kind of hesitation with line delivery and whatnot, and the relationship between this whole group of friends. While we have seen that type of relationship before, it didn't take away from this film. Again, because of Savannah Witten's performance of Lillith, I think that's what helps elevate this film quite a bit above being just in the bulk of normal kind of straight indie films. I mean, they work within their budget, and it's an entertaining movie. Especially if you like indie horror, this one is definitely watchable for sure. And I found a lot of good in here. So there you have it, folks. Lillith, I recommend it for you indie horror fans out there, especially if you like the subject of a succubus. It's handled in here fairly well, and things play out with an interesting conclusion. A bit predictable, but, you know, it was still satisfying. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Again, as always, please check out our Patreon if you haven't. The more support we can get there, the more we can do here for you. I thank you for all these 15 years of being on YouTube, and don't worry, we're not going anywhere. That is a threat and a promise. So until next time, folks, remember, keep that ticket stub.